Okay, now that you have all your pieces cut, it's time to assemble them together. This is the basic layout. And you're going to be joining one side at a time, starting at the top, moving clockwise around the box. Notice I'm keeping my pieces wrapped nice and tight so they don't dry out while I'm working. Double check to make sure all your right angles are squared on your bottom piece. I make adjustments as needed. So we're going to start with the top. And pay close attention to how I'm lining up the corners. We're using butt corner joints. These are some of the strongest joints you can use for corners. So I'm going to score every piece that connects. And I'm going to add water. I'm using water as slip. You can use slip if you've made some. And there's a slight overhang on the outside edge. And you're going to be using that to weld up into the side. You'll see in a minute what I mean by that. So the first thing you're going to do is, once you connect the two pieces, is you're going to weld the inside seam. And then you're going to flip it over, and that is the edge, the overhang edge, and you're going to use that and weld that up into the side. This is on the outside now. These will make very strong connections. Okay, and then you're going to add your second piece, and pay close attention to how this lines up now. Again, working clockwise around the box. There's another slight overhang. And now we have a corner. So you're going to weld, always weld every connection point thoroughly. Inside corner as well as outside corner. And then you're using a piece of the bottom overhang clay and pulling that up into the side. And now, to make double sure that you have a really strong connection, we're going to use a reinforcement coil. Doesn't have to be very thick, about the thickness of a pencil, and connect that with a little bit of slip or a little bit of water. We're also putting reinforcement coil on the inside corner as well. You can use your finger just to weld it and blend it and integrate it into the clay. You can also use your sculpting tool to help define the edges. The idea is to sort of get rid of the visual aspect of the coil and just weld it and blend it in nicely so you don't really see it anymore. Avoid using too much water, but a little bit of water is necessary. And then continue around the box, adding one side at a time. Each time you add a side, you're going to add a reinforcement coil on all the connection points on the inside. You don't have to add reinforcement coils on the outside because you're using the overhang clay. It's basically the same process until you do the whole box. Every place it connects, you weld and add reinforcement. The last wall, the last side, is the most challenging to get a coil in there carefully without distorting it. So it's good to use your right angle and check all edges and make the slight adjustments if you need to just by pressing the clay. Now you're going to cut every piece that's overhanging off using your straight edge or your triangle. Use your serrated rib to smoothen out all the bumps and blend and weld the outside. So I'm really scoring it. There's going to be slight overhangs. You could just cut those off. A little bit of water helps to move the rib around. Notice how the seams just basically disappear when you do that. So the seams are blending nicely. And then once you complete the entire box like that, the entire exterior plus the bottom, don't forget to do the bottom, then you can use something flat, like if you have an expired gift card or your school ID, or even the straight edge side of your rib. Your metal rib works fine as well. And that will help smoothen everything out. A brush with a little bit of water helps smoothen out the inside. And that's it.